An easy way to travel between worlds is to change what the four basic elements of that world are to something else. So, like, instead of fire, water, earth, and air, you use plastic, silver, green, and cosmos. And I'll show you how that perception of reality is altered by the change in observation. Instead of fire, plastic would be anything, even this, which is glass, because it has its plasticky kind of sense to it, and there's no glass in this other place. So this is now plastic because they look like plastic. This would be plastic. This has a portion of plastic in it because it has the same similarity and property. Even this pen is mostly plastic. Instead of water, which in this world would be plastic, anything with a green hue, this, or this would be the phase or element green. So plants would be also part of that class of substance. Silver would be anything from black to white or gray. This paper would be considered silver. So would the computer. And most technology is gray like this, so it would be its own element. Instead of air, we have cosmos, so anything fluffy, like the snow, the clouds, even fabric, and the umbrella, because it's fluffy, would be cosmos. Rare cosmic creature. It's very fluffy. But you may have noticed that this umbrella doesn't qualify as anything other than fluffy, and we didn't define any colors, but the color of this umbrella is undefined in the world we've created, or described, or discovered, or I don't know, depends on how you use it. The yellow brick is also not quite anything in our described universe. There are several ways to resolve that. You can either say that certain substances can be of that color, or you can change the way you perceive the color so that yellow is a shade of green, or you can pretend it doesn't exist and it's just a geometric anomaly or absence in the geometries of that landscape. So, like, I'll show you. Red is hard to make green because it lacks any content of yellow or blue that can then be shifted to green. Like, you can say that's a shade of green if you wanted, but the outline of it could be seen as part of the geometry of the plastic, and this could be seen as a sort of hole in it into a different space, or simply nothing at all. Not many people are familiar with the idea that color can be modified. The Greeks used to believe, or actually they denied, the color blue. The sky wasn't blue, it was actually bronze colored. And the reason for that, in their logic, was that bronze changes color when it rusts. It goes from bronze colored, like the leaves, to another hue of it called blue. But they didn't call it blue, they genuinely just thought it was bronze. You can check history if you don't believe me, but that's actually what they did. 4 basic elements. We have green, plastic, silver, although this is actually plastic silver because it has the same property as the plastic, and it's gray, so it's plastic silver. And we have our fluff or cotton, or what you want to call it. That's cool. You can make comparisons to other things in the world, and it has a blending and bonding property like this. Like this one. This one, while in reality being glass, lacks, for the most part, the plastic sheen property. Like, it has it a bit, but even though these are both technically glass in traditional reality, this is not, because it has something else. And what you can do with that is study how these elements form around you by simply looking at the various properties these specific things have in the environment, and ignore what doesn't count. How do you use the basic elemental changes to something else? Well, you limit yourself to those elements, and you try to use the properties of those limitations to develop and create things much like you would do with anything else if you aren't limiting yourself to that universe or place that is both in your head and outside yourself at the same time. But if someone asks you what you're doing, be honest with them that you're limiting yourself to a base of colors and shapes and stuff. Don't say, oh, I'm in another universe, because they might look at you funny. It's better to break the fourth wall than to, continue acting out a play if something happens outside the play. Because, it makes things work better. Isn't the only way you can do this kind of thing. You can use story, video games, film, and a few others to do similar style explorations of other places that aren't here.